Um, let's see. I don't have a transition to my solo review, which was a movie of not quite as high of quality as The Grudge. Hocus Pocus 2. So I ended up watching this one with the family when I was over last week, the day after Halloween, because they had been interested in watching it, and I ended up having to leave early on Halloween because of issues I won't go into. But Hocus Pocus 2. Now, Daniel, you have not had the pleasure of seeing the original, as I recall.
You are correct. Yes, I've not seen that.
So the quick 30,000-foot view is I also admit I haven't seen the original since I was a child. The main thing I remember from it was that my mother was kind of horrified that we had seen it because she isn't like big on horror and she thought it was kind of icky.
Mm.
My dad kind of agreed.
Yeah.
I don't recall what age I saw it at. So I don't know
Yeah.
if that was just a matter of them being more sensitive to such things than I was, or if it was actually an issue. But basically, you had these three witches who were played by Bette Midler in the middle, Sarah Jessica Parker on the right, and Kathy Najimy on the left, who I had not realized was the voice of Peggy Hill on King of the Hill.
Mm. Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, she really doesn't sound like her in this, so that's good on her for having a voice range.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so the original premise is that you have these three witch sisters in Salem who they killed or cursed somebody because they're three witchy sisters. A boy was seeming to break them up. Um, and so Bette Midler's character, Winifred, who is kind of the ringleader, ended up either cursing or killing the guy. He was a zombie in this movie.
Oh, okay.
Recurring character from the other one. And there was another, and memory serves, there was another townsperson who was turned into a cat and had basically been stuck as a cat since the 1600s. But he's not in this movie. But
Okay.
basically, if the spell is read and a candle is lit, then the three sisters would return and cause mayhem. In the original movie, they returned, caused mayhem, but they were banished. So they have come back again because of the three characters who are young good witches, because gotta appease the Wicca crowd, right?
Right. Yeah.
Um, who decide to try this ritual out because every Halloween they do a spell together. But there's like there's discord in the group because one of them got a boyfriend who's a jock and he seems to be very mean to the other two, and their friendship is strained.
Oh no.
I would put this. So I remember the first one being like it wasn't completely serious because these three basically have Three Stooges vibes. You have Winifred as the slightly more intelligent leader, the Mo.
Yeah.
Then you have Sarah Jessica Parker as the everybody I've ever talked to who watched this movie as a kid was shocked to realize that the hot witch was Sarah Jessica Parker. Because here's the thing, I'm not calling her ugly or anything. She's just kind of not famous for being Vava Voom or anything, right? Like,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, the South Park had a whole bit about
yeah.
with the yeah, yeah. Well, yeah.
Well, there's even some movie where she was like, "Do you think I have a face like a horse?" And yet, yeah, there she is as the sexy one. But anyway,
Yeah.
but she's like the dumb blonde. Then you have Kathy Najimy as the second most intelligent one, who is also the source of most of like what I'd call the vamping for the camera, like a lot of like the intentional jokes, like fart noises and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
I believe this is mostly intact from the original, but it's definitely been dialed back on the horror front.
Yeah.
In fact, I would say like I would be astonished if anybody but the smallest of children managed to be scared by this.
Yeah, yeah, probably.
Because because basically, okay, so it starts off. It starts off with a flashback to when the three became witches, which is actually not all that relevant to things until the very end.
Yeah.
The nicest thing about it is that what I'll say is that it was a way to reintroduce the plot line with the boy who split them up. So that's something, I guess.
Yeah.
It also I don't know how they did it. I don't know if it was her granddaughter or something. In fact, let me look that up. There was whoever they picked to play young Winifred. Taylor Henderson as young Winifred looked so much like her and got the acting down so perfectly that if I found out she was her granddaughter or something, I would not be the least bit shocked.
Yeah.
Uh, no reference to that, so I'm just going to assume that she was just well cast.
Yeah, and probably watched the original movie a lot to get her mannerisms down.
Yep, probably. But so the three witches have been freed. The of the three main characters, two of them are mostly around, and the third one is really not because of the strained friendship. So it's like, why is she even in the movie? After a certain point,
Yeah.
like they don't like the three main witches like don't really get a lot of development at all. They're just like a diverse group of witch inclined people
Mm.
who have just been shoved into the situation. Um, the humor reminded me a bit of the Addams Family, where it's like you have horrific people or horror themed people who are just kind of flummoxed by modern technology and society.
Yeah.
Like they try to say, oh, they pretend to be like advanced witches, and they take them to Walgreens to eat some anti-aging cream to help them stay alive, and like, oh, you don't need to eat our souls. Like we have anti-aging creams and magic, so you can just get the children's souls right from this. And so like they're eating beauty cream and stuff like that.
Oh, jeez.
So that gives an idea of the basic humor of this.
Yeah.
They also have some fun where they're trying to get brooms at one point, and instead the two of Kathy Najimy's character ends up riding on two Roombas that she enchants because broom equivalents,
Right.
and they're actually used in sort of a clever way later.
Mm.
And in the end, one of the three girls develops Rey Skywalker style magic, where she can suddenly roughly match the three witches.
Of course.
And the three witches, I won't say how, the three witches are kind of almost redeemed in the end, sort of, kind of, which is weird. Or at least it shows that one of them cares more about her sisters than the MacGuffin they were after, which was ultimate power.
Yeah.
I would call this movie, to quote Hitchhiker's Guide from the Galaxy, mostly harmless. Like there were a couple of interesting gags, a couple of interesting visuals, a couple of neatish ideas, but I wouldn't recommend that anybody go out of their way to watch it.
Yeah.
I decided to look it up, and it got a passing grade from critics on Rotten Tomatoes. But on the flip side, the audience gave it like a 47% or 45%, which to my mind says that they took away whatever edge the original fans liked from it. So
Yeah.
I guess it's kind of, but my parents kind of like my dad didn't think it was very good, but like he thought it was less icky. So I guess that they sanded off the edges for people who didn't really approve of the original movie.
Yeah. So Arcos said it's an unnecessary sequel bait. Was it at least mildly entertaining? Sounds like it was a little.
Yeah, like I wasn't horribly bored the whole time. Which is more than I can say for a lot of Disney sitcom grade entertainment.
Yeah.
The other thing I will say to its benefit is that the three leads were amusing to watch. They were clearly having a good time with it. So, even though it was 30 years after the original. I'd also heard some people saying at the time that this should have gone to theaters, considering Disney didn't have a great 2022 theater lineup.
Yeah.
But I feel like it would have looked too cheap in theaters.
Okay,
Like
so
it,
it's pretty low budget.
yeah, like not a whole lot of effects. All the sets and camera angles did kind of have a TV movie feel to them.
Mm,
So Disney Plus is probably where it belonged.
yeah. Hmm.
But yeah, like like in terms of unnecessary franchise cash grabs, uh, yeah, definitely way more offended by Snake Eyes than by this.
Okay. Well, that's good to know.
Yep.